Hey guys, this is Jimmy Davis here.
And I'm a guy that loves pooping.
And this is episode 1 of Poopcast. I know that in the last episode, the pilot episode, we had said that we were trying to come up with a name for the podcast. And we were considering calling it Poopcast, but we weren't sure. And we just decided to call it Poopcast because it's a shorter title, and we just wanted to make sure that the title doesn't take up too long of the name on YouTube. So from now on, it'll just be Poopcast, number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. And instead of saying featuring a guy that loves pooping, Logan's going to be in every episode from now on. Unless he's not in a couple, I guess, which is possible.
I mean, there's a chance I might not be able to be in some.
Yeah. Why didn't you open that before we started recording?
Does it really matter?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, so for the audio for this one, we both have cell phones that we're recording on, so hopefully the audio, for sure the audio will be better than the first one. But hopefully it'll be good enough so that we can use this for all the future episodes. But for this first episode, what we're actually going to do is read through the comments that we got on the pilot. And we're just going to kind of talk about the comments. And we'll probably talk a little bit more after that. I don't know for sure what exactly is going to happen. I don't think that we should plan out too much ahead of time. So it's just kind of like a natural conversation. But anyway, I guess we'll just get into reading the comments then. And I'm just looking at the page right now. I'm just going with top comments. I'm a little bit out of breath right now. I should have mentioned that beforehand. But we're going to kind of go through the top comments. So it's not really in any particular order. First of all, I guess we'll just go through my replies. The replies to my pinned comment, which I said, I know it's been a while since my last YTP, but I should have 2 coming out soon, one today or tomorrow, and another on Christmas Day. And, one thing I should mention is, don't reply to my pinned comments. I think some people do that because I think they think that that'll make it so that I'll see the comment sooner or whatever, or have an easier time replying to it, but that's just not the case. It just makes it more inconvenient for me, and in some cases I even forget to reply to it. So if you want to say something to me, just say it in the comments, unless it has something to do with my pinned comment. But anyway, let me find the first comment here. Kind of skipping over a couple where I was just talking back and forth. I got one from Ian O'Keefe /IanYTP, who said, can we be friends on Skype? I'm hoping we can message each other in Skype conversation. I don't want to reveal my voice in a podcast of yours because I get nervous. And you can talk too, Logan, just so you know.
I just have nothing to say so far.
Yeah, it'll probably take us a little while before we really get into it. But basically, to respond to that, yeah, I guess so. I really should have looked over these comments before we started recording this. But, yeah, I guess we could be friends on Skype. You don't have to. So far, I haven't even used Skype to make calls to other people. So I just do messages. That's the other thing I forgot to specify before we got into this, was that one of the things that I mentioned was that we were considering having guests on the show through Skype. So that's what some of these comments are talking about. Swib the Merc says, I would love to be in a podcast with you, and I don't know who you are. I think I'm almost 100% positive that we mentioned that. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember we said if we don't know you, we probably won't be able to be on the podcast.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily a guarantee that you won't be on the podcast, but it's just probably not. But you never know. Whoop-Doo Crafter says, I think that this podcast is a really good idea. Any chance I could participate in the future? I know that you know I have Skype. And yeah, like Whoop-Doo Crafter is an example where I think you're familiar with Whoop-Doo Crafter, right?
Yeah.
So we're both familiar with Whoop-Doo Crafter, so I'm sure that you would be, we could do a podcast with you as a guest on there.
I know. I have him in my contacts on Skype, but we've never talked, so.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing with me. And we do need to... also, I forgot to mention at the top of this that This is just kind of we're just kind of discussing the format of what podcasts are going to be in the future. So, like, this is basically pilot part 2, just so you know. So it's future ones are going to kind of smooth out the more and more we go. But and the next one, Cool Nerd 20XD6. How about Where There's Smoke? They podcast, and that was the other thing we mentioned was that we were looking for a title for it. I mean, I mentioned that at the beginning, but I think there are a lot of comments of people suggesting names for the podcast, and like I said, we just decided to go with Poopcast because like something like Where There's Smoke They podcast is a little bit too long of a title. A guy that loves pooping says, "I've now realized how much I hate the sound of my own voice."
Who's the guy that loves pooping?
I don't know.
Apparently, I did a good Scarce impression according to.
Oh yeah, Pokebrony _. That Scarce voice was amazing though. 10 out of 10. Would source again.
Would source again?
Would source again.
I think he spelled that wrong.
I don't know.
I think he meant scarce.
Would scarce again? I have no idea. He would source again though.
He would source again.
And then you can read this next comment is from you. You can read it if you want to.
And then I replied to that comment. And today we have a bunch of news down today, so we may actually have a double upload. That is right, guys.
Master Sword. My voice is much worse. TBBBH.
Yeah, it's pretty common for him to use multiple B's.
I've never seen that happen.
Well, you're not familiar with him. I actually know him. So
was he the guy who was making penis jokes when we were over at?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care. We're friends.
But our 4-year-old niece probably shouldn't be seeing that kind of stuff.
She can't read, but
yeah, but
it's not worth the risk.
Then One-Eyed Savvy also replied to that. Really? I honestly think you've got a good sounding voice, man.
Thanks.
He likes you.
No, I'm sorry. I don't like men.
Okay, that's fair. I don't either. I mean,
men are horrible people.
Are you an SJW? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, those people that hate men and think women are gods.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about that kind of stuff.
Toa Matoro? I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of these names, but another name suggestion. How about Have We Got a Podcast for You? Which, again, it's not a bad name. It's just too long. And again, like I said, it's Poopcast.
Well, this podcast isn't really about VeggieTales, is it?
No, but I mean that's not the last time that there's a VeggieTales related. Actually, I think there's only one other time where there's a VeggieTales related suggestion.
You haven't even made a VeggieTales video in forever, and I barely make them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been working on Larry Man since last Easter. Bilbo, are you chewing on a bone?
Yes, he is.
And it's a beef bone, so it's not like it's bad. It's just he's making noise. I might need to send him out of the room with that. But then One-Eyed Savvy. Bilbo. One-Eyed Savvy. First Carson and now you. Not Carson. Carlson, now you. This is great, man. By the way, maybe you and Carlson should consider doing a collaborative podcast at some point. Then I replied, if Carlson already has or eventually ends up getting a Skype, then I definitely want to have him as a guest on a podcast. And he did send me a message. NP Carlson sent me a message on Twitter saying that he got a Skype account, and I replied and said, he could add me, and you just look me up on Skype, and he never responded or sent me a request on Skype. So I don't know what's going on there, but maybe if he does eventually add me on Skype, then yeah, I definitely have him on the show.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting. I've never talked to anybody from the YouTube poop community, like in person. I mean, well, I wouldn't be in person, but like I've never actually vocally talked to somebody just through text.
Well, that's I have talked to people through like Skype and stuff, so I mean that wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary for me, but
yeah, but I just don't talk to people, so it'd be weird for me. And One-Eyed Savvy replied, forget about Skype, Jim. Discord is where the real stuff is at nowadays. I have no idea what Discord is. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I thought that was like a character from My Little Pony or something like that.
No, Discord, it's basically, it's like Skype, basically.
Is it like VidMe where people think that it's the savior and it's just YouTube 2.0?
Well, except Discord actually has a lot of people use Discord.
Well, a lot of people are switching to VidMe too. But I think Well, VidMe's technically been around for a long time, but I think Bilbo.
Oh, the thing is, Discord is like I think it's like still in beta, and it's like it already has a big user base, so that's a good sign. I think I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. Um, Hang on a second. I gotta kick Bilbo out of the room. He's chewing on
Why
the
are you gonna
bone.
kick your dog?
I'm gonna kick him like Odie. It's okay, Bilbo. You're not in trouble. You're making noise, and I don't want it to pick up on the recording. You can chew it out there. Now he's probably gonna start scratching on the door and want back in. But
And then he'll make more noise.
yeah, well, I'll let him back in if he does that. He's not outside or anything. He's just outside of the room. But anyway, I need a drink of water. You can talk for a minute while I'm getting a drink of water about Skype or Discord or the fact that he called me Jim.
Oh, um, I've never used Discord, so I don't know if it's as good as people say it is, but
I have a feeling that, like I said, that it's kind of like a VidMe type thing where it's not really any better. I think,
I mean, someone told me that it's really good for like group chats. I'm like, oh well, then I don't think I'd ever use it because usually the group chats are what I pay the least attention to on Skype.
yeah,
Because it's like I'm in a few group chats and I never like sometimes I'll go and look at them just to kind of see what they're talking about, but it's like I'm not really interested in it.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not, I should clarify. I'm not saying that I think that Discord or even VidMe are terrible. I'm just saying that well, I'll talk about VidMe in a second, but Discord, I've never tried it, never seen anybody use it before. I've heard a lot of people use it, or heard from a lot of people who use it who say that it's really good. But I mean, it took me forever to get Skype, so I don't know if I'll ever get Discord. And then I know VidMe it doesn't have anything to do with this comment, but I should probably clarify that I don't hate VidMe or anything. I just think that people are kind of uh, maybe jumping to it a little bit too soon. It's been around for a long time, but it hasn't really proven itself yet. I've used it a couple times. I'm not really impressed with it, to be honest.
I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
Like I
but
mean, I don't mind. I think I went on early. It's like well, if it kicks off, then good. I joined early. If it doesn't kick off, oh well.
yeah. But I mean, at the moment, it's just kind of trying to be anti-YouTube. But the thing is that a majority of what YouTube's rules are and everything, they're there for a reason. And so eventually, VidMe is going to end up having to apply those same rules, and then people are going to hate VidMe. All it's going to take is another $1 billion lawsuit from Viacom for it to just become another YouTube. But like I said, I don't have anything against VidMe. It's just I think that so many people are jumping on so quickly without actually seeing if it's worth it. But like I said, that has nothing to do with this comment. I just kind of brought that up and thought I should clarify that I'm not anti-VidMe. Um, and then the only other thing about that comment that I was going to mention was that it's always funny to me to see people refer to me as Jim because my name is Jimmy Davis. I'm on my YouTube name is Jimmy Davis. My real name is not Jimmy. So it's just kind of funny seeing that sometimes. But Logan's middle name is James.
I always find it weird when people on YouTube use my real name because it's like it's not like I have my real name hidden. I just find it weird because I see it so rarely.
Yeah. Yeah, my real name I've mentioned on Twitter. It's not a very common name at all, so it's kind of weird. I did mention on Twitter and saw somebody, use it, and that just seemed really weird to me. But you can talk when I'm taking a drink, so that way it doesn't get boring.
I don't know what to talk about really.
Talk about words. General South Park fan said, didn't realize that a guy that loves pooping was Jimmy Davis's brother. And Gemigod or Gemigod said, neither did I. Which is something that I get every single time I mention that you're my brother. Every time I mention that, somebody says, I didn't know that he was your brother.
I think I mentioned it on Twitter once how it's like it's funny whenever you bring it up, everyone's so surprised, and then I got a few replies. Wait, really?
Yeah.
You're his brother?
Yeah. Okay. Zibzidian, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, said Poopcast would be a good title.
It's a good thing you think that because that's the one we're going with.
Yeah. O-Face Studios said, "Oh boy, now I have another podcast to listen to while I'm working on YTPs. Hope to see more." You will see more.
I mean,
Hear more.
I don't really. Usually, I don't really do other things when I'm listening to to podcasts because then I just usually don't even pay attention to it.
Well, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm at work or while I'm doing like visual stuff for YTPs, visual stuffs. Um, but this is a good time to bring up that I don't think we're gonna have a schedule for making these podcasts. I don't want to put myself on a schedule because then I think that if I missed it, then it would just set me way behind and it would just be too stressful. And there's no way of knowing when we're even going to have the time to record podcasts. So I think if we can manage to get one podcast out per month, I think we're doing good.
Basically, we'll just make them whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, or whenever we have time, I guess. Not necessarily whenever we feel like it. I don't know about you, but I could record a podcast every single day and not get, well, I would eventually get sick of it. But for the most part, it would take a long time. So it's not necessarily whenever we feel like it, just whenever we can. I might have to cut out some of these parts where we're drinking water.
I'm not drinking water
Well, you're drinking pop, but
because I'm unhealthy.
yeah. And we just got back from McDonald's, and you just had Dr. Pepper at McDonald's. Now you're drinking Coke.
Why is that such a big deal? I don't know.
You're drinking that much pop in a day.
One of those medium-sized cups is about the size of a can, so I'm only drinking about 2 cans.
2 cans.
You treat it like if I drink 2 cans in one day, I'm gonna die or something.
Everyone's gonna die. We mentioned this last time, don't you remember?
Yeah, but it just seems like every time I have more than 1 can of pop a day, you're like, oh, you're gonna die.
You will. Gemigod commented, "I had no idea that the guy that loves pooping were that you and a guy that loves pooping were brothers. And you should totally do more of these podcasts more often. They're very entertaining." Thank you. I'm glad somebody finds them entertaining. Well, I think a lot of people enjoy these. Karen, I don't know how to pronounce it. Kaorin said, "Please do more." We are. Sonica XD commented, "This was a good listen. Thank you so much for not spoiling Rogue One." Oh yeah, I forgot we talked about Rogue One.
I forgot most of what we talked about. I think I re-listened to it just because.
Well, we didn't talk about much. We just kind of talked about Rogue One.
Did we even... I thought we recorded it before we watched it.
We did. We were talking about going to see it. And talking about how amazing it was going to be to see those terribly made CGI faces.
Which didn't even look that bad.
Yeah, well, I think, without spoiling... Can you let Bilbo inside? Or back in the room? Hang on, I'll let you open up the door. Without spoiling who the characters were, I'll just say that the one character who's in a good amount of the movie at first kind of looked a bit fakey, I thought, but the more they were in the movie, the better they looked, and then the second one just looked terrible. Well, not necessarily terrible, but they just looked like a video game character, I thought.
I thought they both looked fine.
I'm pretty sure that on our way home from watching it, we were talking about it, and you said that it was the other way around for you. I know I've heard people say either the first one looked amazing and the second one looked like crap, or the first one looked like crap and the second one looked amazing. So I think it just all depends.
Maybe we just need to watch it again.
Yeah, I do definitely want to watch it again. I thought it was really good. As a very casual Star Wars fan, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's good, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Well, like I said, we're both very casual Star Wars fans. You didn't even see a single Star Wars movie until last year.
I'd seen a lot.
Well, you watched them when you were like 4.
Yeah, I'd seen I don't know if I'd watched the whole movies, but I'd definitely seen little bits and pieces when I was about 5 or 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you would have been about 5 or 6. That was during the time when you were terrified of Gollum, so you didn't watch Lord of the Rings.
It's funny because I think I used to say I'm never gonna watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and now they're some of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, getting back to Sonic XD's comment. Looking forward to seeing more of this. P.S. Would totally want to be on this show with you. And yeah, that's another person. I don't know if have you ever watched Sonic XD's videos or anything like that?
Never watched a single one of his videos.
Okay. Yeah, but I have, and he's been subscribed to me since I think since I started doing YouTube Poop. So yeah, I definitely want to have him on the show.
I don't think he's subscribed to me, but I know he did very recently follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Random Video Clicker said 318, which I did look back in these comments like a week ago or something like that, and for some reason, that's just the point in the video where the actual podcast starts. Like I did the introduction, and then we got to the podcast. But I'm pretty sure I even put in the video that the podcast started at 3:18 or something like that.
So, how long is the intro for this one going to be?
There isn't going to be an intro for this
Okay.
when we already started it. Unless I decide listening back to it that it was just a terrible intro and I want to re-record a new one or something like that.
Record a 20-minute intro.
No, I think at most it'd maybe be a minute.
I can't help but notice whenever you say I'm gonna make this quick, it's like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, every time I've ever recorded an update video, I think the shortest update video I've ever recorded was, before editing it, I think was like 17 minutes long. Because every time, I just have a tendency to over-explain everything, like I'm kind of doing right now with how long I record things. So let me just get back to reading the comments. Twin Woodsman said, "Oh!" I think because I could have done that better, but I'm not even going to try again. Oh!
Because you're King Harkinian and
yeah, because I was, my profile picture at the time, the Christmas themed profile picture was King Harkinian, made to look like me.
And I had no Christmas profile picture.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I had one on Twitter.
We should boycott you.
I had one on Twitter. No need to complain.
Okay. Malin Miller, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, said, "Great video, I like the podcast. You should do more of these." Again, we are. Sirusapi? How would you pronounce that? I know that I didn't pronounce it right.
I have no idea.
Sirusapi.
Serakipe.
I don't know. Serucipe. In quotations, Peter Jackson's sense of humor is a little immature, says a guy who makes YouTube poops. Which that was something I remember I forgot to elaborate on in the video. Is that I just meant... Well, I mean, I guess I did mean that his sense of humor is a little immature. And yes, I know that I make YouTube poops. But the difference between me and Peter Jackson is the fact that I'm not using millions of dollars to make videos that millions of people are going to watch.
Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of jokes. Like, there's a lot of types of jokes that I feel like it's like they just don't work outside of YouTube poop as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is... I know some people are probably going to disagree with me on this, but suicide jokes, for example, it's like I've laughed at so many suicide jokes in YouTube poops, but then it seems like if it's not in a YouTube poop, I'm a little more hesitant to laugh at it. I don't know what it is.
Unless it's in an old Looney Tunes cartoon, then it always works.
Yeah, because it's freaking Looney Tunes.
But I'm, like an example of a joke that I was thinking of when I said that in the podcast was, there's the Riddles in the Dark scene where Gollum says that, he needs 3 answers and he holds up 2 fingers instead of 3. Like, that was funny back in 2001, when I was 7 watching Shrek, but not in 2012 when I was watching The Hobbit. But
I don't even remember that happening.
Yeah, that was... There were just jokes like that seemed out of place, I guess is what I was trying to get at.
I guess it's been years since I've watched that movie, so...
The Hobbit?
Yeah, I last watched it, I think, in 2013 when it was on Blu-ray. Actually, no, wait. No, when did the extended edition come out?
2013.
Okay, maybe it was 2013, because I watched the extended edition. That was the last time I watched it.
Yeah, I guess that's the last time I watched it, too. We need to just marathon all 3 Hobbit movies and then all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Extended editions.
I've only actually watched the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings movies once.
Really?
Yeah. I remember them being a lot better, just because it's like there's more to it, so of course.
Yeah. And I've only watched the extended edition of the first Hobbit movie, and then I think that the second and third Hobbit movie I've only watched once each in the theater. So I definitely need to rewatch those. Ever since I've graduated and gotten a job, I just haven't really rewatched movies as much as I used to. Like I think I mentioned in the first podcast that I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy easily 30 or 40 times, and since I graduated, I think the movie that I've rewatched the most, I don't know, this is just kind of guessing, I don't have a specific movie in mind, but I think there's probably been a movie I've watched 3 or 4 times.
I mean, even I don't really rewatch movies as much anymore.
Yeah. But I have been wanting to rewatch a few movies like The Happening and Troll 2. Because those movies it seems like they get better the more well, actually, I guess I've only watched them once. But it seems like every time I see clips from them on YouTube, I just forget how funny they were and want to rewatch them again. So I'd imagine they'd be funnier the more you watch them.
The Happening is a terrible, amazing movie.
It's a perfectly flawed movie is how I describe it. It's flawed in every way possible to make it amazing. It's perfectly flawed.
It's one of the worst movies ever made, but that makes it one of the best movies ever made.
Exactly. Okay, back to the comments. Network 1245 commented, "Looks like you're out of sauce. Larry Man, not again."
What?
That's a sort of quote from my Larry Man 2 preview, but I don't know what it's doing here.
What does that have to do with this?
Nothing. Reactor commented, "Two brothers together at once." We have 5 brothers. Well, I have 5 brothers, including Logan.
Yes.
There's 6 boys in the family. 6 men in the family. Well, you're not a man yet. You're going to be 18, though, in July.
That is weird. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It feels like not that long ago that I was 12.
Yeah. I remember when I was 10, because that's when we first moved up to this area. We lived 2 hours south of here until I was 10, and then we moved up to around this area. So that's kind of... My childhood memories kind of split up into 1 through 10, and then 10 through 12, because we lived in a certain house when I was 10 to when I was 12, and then we've lived in this house ever since then. I really need to get my own house. What are you doing, Bilbo? Is he trying to get your Coke?
He wanted to come up.
Was that you that made the noise, or Bilbo?
What?
Or is that just his claws scraping against your jeans?
Why are you licking my sweater? I think it was his claws scraping against my pants.
Okay, anyway. Iori? Something like that.
Uroy?
It looks like it's Europe at first, but it's O-R-Y. Like E-U-R, so Europe, but then O-R-Y. I don't know. Anyway, I think doing podcasts is a great idea. Also, it's kind of funny because I have the first as your brother, Jimmy D.
What is that?
I think he meant to say I have the first name as your brother.
I was going to say that comment doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty much positive that that's what he means by that, is that he has the name Logan. King Nothing One Ha commented, "Dat ending, though." I think he's talking about the friend incest comment.
You're the one that said that.
I'm the one who said it, but you're the one who misinterpreted it.
Well,
I was talking about, like, friendship incest, like 2 siblings being friends.
I just heard the word incest and immediately...
It was a metaphor, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
You were the one who was like, "Oh, nothing sexual." And then the battery cut out, so I remember we talked about it after the battery was on. You're like, "Oh, that's what you meant."
Yeah, because, it's just like...
I don't know how you misinterpreted that.
Well, because you said incest. How else am I supposed to
Friend
interpret that?
incest. When I'm talking about ear rape, I'm not talking about actual rape.
Well, the difference is I've heard ear rape several times.
Yes, and you're going to hear friend incest several times, because we're going to rename the podcast Friend Incest, okay?
Let's not.
Okay. We could, though. Except, of course, we're going to end up having guests on the show, so maybe we shouldn't name it that. All these kebab said, "What about VegCast?" I think that's supposed to be VeggieCast, but there's 2 G's and an IE. It's just V. The way he spelled it is VEGE cast.
But the podcast doesn't have anything to do with VeggieTales.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I got started making YouTube poops with VeggieTales YouTube poops. And if you look at my most viewed videos, almost every single one of my VeggieTales videos is up there at the top. Like my most viewed videos, it's like almost all of my VeggieTales videos are there. What?
He stepped on my, should I say it?
Crotch?
Yes. Well, I was going to word it differently.
Bilbo, get down. Just get down, dude. Come on.
Goodbye.
What was I saying? Oh, if you look at my most viewed videos, it's like all of my VeggieTales videos are there first. And then after the last VeggieTales video on there, it's all the rest of my videos. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 VeggieTales videos near that are later on down the line, and one or two non-VeggieTales videos that are mixed in between the VeggieTales videos. But I kind of wonder. Well, plus my profile picture is supposed to be VeggieTales themed, so I kind of think people just associate me with VeggieTales and think that if I'm not making a VeggieTales video, I'm not making a regular video.
I think I even asked you once, what do you associate my videos with? And you said SpongeBob. I'm like, I don't even really make SpongeBob poops that often. And so it's just like, but those are my most viewed videos, and that's my profile picture. So,
Yeah, well, I associate you now with 10-second long YTPMVs.
well, I mean, I've been doing a lot of those, I guess, but I've got actual videos in the works though. So,
But I'm eventually going to run out of VeggieTales videos to poop, and that's never been my. I don't think anyway. Maybe I've said otherwise in earlier updates or whatever, but I don't think that's ever been my intention to be a VeggieTales YouTube pooper. I like using the source, and I'll always, well, probably always like using the source. But it does get kind of annoying when people just think that that's all you do. They don't see your other content, or they just see it as you taking a break or whatever. I can't upload a video without people commenting, "When's your next VeggieTales poop?" Literally, even when I upload a VeggieTales YouTube poop within the same day, I always get a comment, "Cool, when's your next VeggieTales YouTube poop coming out?"
I just made one.
Exactly. But anyway, that's kind of a unrelated to the comment. Gaming Dudester commented, fifth comment.
Honestly, why do people comment stuff like that?
I have no idea.
The first comments I've never understood.
They literally don't make any sense at all. Although I will admit that there have been a couple of times in the past where I've clicked on a video from like a bigger named YouTuber, and I've seen that I'm first, and I really have to fight the urge to make a quick comment because I know that I wouldn't be able to add anything to it. I've always wanted to. Every time I get a first comment, I always want to reply, but never reply. Something like, something along the lines of, "Yeah, but you're not the." Or no, how would I word it? I think this is why I've never commented it, because I'm not really sure how to comment it, but something along the lines of, "But you're not the first to actually," or no,
Not the first to watch it.
no. Well, I mean, that's true too. I get a lot of comments from people who clearly didn't even watch the video, but something like, "But last to make an intelligent comment," or just something along those lines. Like I said, though, I think that would come off as a bit too mean. It's just supposed to be tongue in cheek, but also it doesn't really work that well as a comment. But anyway, Video Game Apprentice commented, "Good podcast. The only real complaint is the audio quality." Bilbo, just get down. Only real complaint.
You can read the comment now.
Only real complaint is the audio quality. If you're gonna do more, then I would suggest keeping Logan on. I'd also be able to do a podcast if you would want me to. I don't know why I can't read these right now. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit tired, but Video Game Apprentice, right?
Yeah, I've actually talked to him on Skype before.
I've definitely seen him around. I'm pretty sure you did a tennis match with him, right?
Yeah, and him and Master Sword.
Yeah. I think I maybe watched one or two of his videos, so yeah, he'd definitely be able to be on the list of people to do a podcast with. Malin Miller commented, "I would like to have a podcast with you. I love to talk about random funny stuff and be goofy, so if you make more of these, I would like to do one with you. What do you think, Jimmy?" And I didn't reply, and I think I might have forgot to reply, or just didn't really know how to word it, but I don't know you. I mean, and especially since you made this comment, I've definitely seen you around, but bottom line is that you don't have any content out right now, for one thing, and I don't mean to make it sound like we're only going to be doing having guests who are popular or something like that, but it's just, if I don't know you and you don't have any content to go off of, I don't really know what we could talk about. Are you going to add anything at all? You're just kind of sitting there.
I don't have anything to add.
I'm waiting for you to start talking so I can take a drink because my mouth is getting really dry. So just say words.
Words.
Logan, come on.
I don't know what to talk about.
You could have at least talked about what you didn't know what to talk about.
One time I didn't know what to say.
Okay, anyway. So it's unlikely that you would be on the podcast. It's not impossible. Like I said, I don't mean to make it sound like, you don't have any, you don't have any videos or subscribers, so you're not good enough to be on the podcast. It's just, I don't really know you. You could add me on Skype or whatever, assuming you have Skype, and I would assume you have Skype if you're talking about being on the podcast. You could add me on Skype and we could message back and forth, whatever, maybe someday. But just based off of this one comment, I don't know. We did say in the video, if we don't know who you are, then probably not. I'm going to skip that comment. It's just a question for me that I answered. Young J97 said, love to see more of it. Love to see more of this, bro. I'd also be down with doing a podcast any day. And yeah, I would definitely have Young J97 on the show. Are we going to call it a show?
Podcast. Let's just call it that.
I don't know why I said it on the show.
On the show.
It just kind of came out. But yeah, definitely like to have him on the podcast. On a podcast. If you don't know, Young J97 created Fruity Stories. Might Eyes did Sourcey Stories. Young J97 created Fruity Stories and the Fruity Stories collab. That was what kind of inspired me to create this channel, so yeah, definitely have him on the show.
Wasn't it because you watched my entry and you said that there were a lot of missed opportunities, and so you decided to make your own?
Yep, and I just called it a show again. I don't know why, I don't want to call it that. I don't like the way that sounds. It sounds like we're trying too hard.
Well, does it really matter?
I don't know, but and I guess at the same time, I guess trying too hard is better than not trying hard enough, because this is something I definitely want to continue with these. I don't want to just make one or two of them and then stop. But at the same time, I don't mean to try too hard to be professional or sound professional or whatever. Anyway, back to comments. How would you pronounce that?
Which one?
This one right here.
Polnesic 5?
I don't know if that's a foreign name, like a non-American name, or just random letters. It looks almost Russian, I guess. I'm really bad at guessing that kind of stuff, but Polnesic 5? Something like that. Polnazek 5. Maybe you could call it Davis Cast, since you were both brothers.
It's actually not our last name, so...
Yeah, and again, like I said, it's Poopcast now. I know we kind of made a big deal about, leave us suggestions, whatever, but I should have just said, do you like Poopcast, yes or no? Because I think of that, even as we made the first podcast, the pilot podcast, I think I was even kind of already decided that, yeah, we're probably going to call it Poopcast.
We both kind of decided on that pretty early on.
Yeah. I think the only reason why I didn't like it initially is because it just seems really simple and kind of lazy, but so are we, so...
Well, I'm pretty sure I just came up with it off the top of my head, so...
Yeah, well, that's just kind of what you do. CinemaSins, I forget his full name, Jeremy, whatever his last name is, from CinemaSins, apparently has a podcast that he calls Sincast, so it just seems kind of like a generic thing to do. Pinecone commented, what earlier video did you mention your real name? And I have no idea what he's talking about here. And I replied, I've never mentioned my real name in a YouTube video.
Didn't you say that in a video you mentioned that Jimmy Davis wasn't your real name?
Yeah, I did say that. I've said that multiple times, but I've never on YouTube mentioned my real name.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is maybe he misinterpreted it as that.
It's possible. You think I should reveal my real name? I'm going to eventually. It's nothing... I don't want to make it sound like I'm building it up, because it's nothing amazing. Should I say it?
If you want to, I don't really care.
If you want to, I don't really care.
That's your real name.
Yes, that is... No. Okay, fine. It's Jalen. It's Jason, but with an L instead of an S. In both spelling and pronunciation.
Now it's going to be weird every time you see comments. Great video, Jalen.
Yeah, I'll still always go by Jimmy Davis, and you can still call me Jimmy Davis, or just Jim if you want. Even though that's not my real name. Like I said, though, James is Logan's middle name. My middle name is Patrick. You can call me Patrick if you want to.
Patrick Starr.
Yes, I loved that fact as a kid. I was homeschooled, so I didn't get made fun of. I'm sure I would have hated it if I was public schooled. But anyway, then the last comment on here is from the Master Poop. I would like to appear in a podcast if you make any more. Which that was kind of weird because I think that I mean I never watched any of his videos before this comment. After he made the comment, I watched some of his videos. He makes very, very well edited Harry Potter YTPs.
I still haven't watched any of them yet.
Yeah, he has 48,000 subscribers, so that's kind of crazy. I think I knew that he had subscribed to me. I just didn't think he watched my videos, so that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you're listening to this one, but like I said in my reply, yeah, definitely would have you on the show.
Did we really?
I just called it a show again.
Did we really already go over every comment?
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, we've been recording for like 42 minutes, according to my phone.
I was expecting this to be like 2 hours, but I guess there weren't as many comments as I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I think there were, 60 comments? No, not even 60, 47 comments. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to take this long. I think it only took me like 15 or 20 minutes to read through the comments when I read through them last week.
Well, we didn't spend the whole time talking about comments.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think I mentioned. Hang on, let me just kind of glance at my reply again. Yeah, up to the Master Poop. I think when we start doing guests on the show, I don't know if we'll have him on first. I don't know if I mean I don't have him on Skype or anything like that, but that would be kind of an interesting way to start. To have well, at the same time, I don't know if we should start with. Well, I should really stop stuttering for one thing, but also get back to what I was saying before about it's not about your subscriber count or popularity or anything. But that being said, it is still kind of cool to get a bigger name YouTube pooper interested. I'm not going to try to pretend like that's nothing. But are you going to talk so I can drink water?
Yeah, sure. I guess I should watch some of his videos. I haven't watched any of them yet.
Yeah, like I said, they're very well edited. Kind of disturbing.
Well, I mean, I watched some disturbing YouTube poops.
Yeah, but the penises just are so well edited into the source that it's just disturbing. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to have him on the show. I freaking keep calling it show. It's not a show.
Why does it matter? Honestly,
like I said, it just sounds kind of obnoxious to me. I don't know. It's probably just me.
I mean, I didn't even notice till you pointed it out.
I wonder if I've just been doing it the whole time and I just now realized it. But yeah, I think we'll try to get as many guests on as we can. We're not. I don't know about you, but I don't want to ever turn down a potential guest. I think even if there was a like really controversial YouTube pooper, I don't even think those exist. But assuming they did, I wouldn't want to turn it down because I just think I kind of want this to be. If I could have this like anything, I would want to make it like Rhett and Link's Ear Biscuits podcast, except for YouTube poopers instead of YouTubers. Because if you've never listened to Ear Biscuits, you really should. For one thing, it's very interesting. It's on SoundCloud, but it's just they just kind of talk to a bunch of different YouTubers and like a ton of different YouTubers, a huge variety of YouTubers. I mean, I think they only did 40 episodes technically, but the variety is insane. Like they did one with Shane Dawson, Shay Carl, Epic Rap Battles, Epic Lloyd and Nice Peter, or is it? Yeah, that's the way it works. They did one with Lacey Green. They did one with Philip DeFranco. That was how I first found out about Lacey Green.
Lacey Green is
But bottom line is that that even though they clearly do not agree with the kind of stuff that Lacey Green talks about, they still did the podcast. Just kind of talk to them. That's kind of what I want to do for this. Is just talk to people and not be like, I don't like that person's videos. I don't want to have them on the podcast or anything like that.
I can think of some kind of controversial YouTube poopers, but
like who?
I'd rather just not name them.
Well, I guess when you think about it, Emp Lemon is kind of controversial in a sense.
I mean, I'm not gonna say who, but I actually do know people who do not like him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. If you can't take a joke, then you can't take Lemon.
Well, even like people who seem like they can take a joke. It's like they just like they seem like really nice people that I know. And it's like but they just don't like him.
Yeah, and I guess there are a lot of people who also don't like Number One.
Honestly, from what I've seen of Number One's videos, it's like I feel like people just hate him because he's popular. Because he's
Yeah,
he's not that bad, honestly.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that I love his videos. I do think that they're a little bit simplistic, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that mine are way better or any crap like that. But
I mean, I'm not even
I
subscribed. I
yeah,
don't.
I'm not subscribed, but I think the main thing is that he got popular off of doing Frozen YouTube poops, and so of course people hate Frozen, people hate popular YouTube poopers, so people hate popular Frozen YouTube poopers.
I mean, the thing is, it's like it's not his fault that he's popular. It's like why are you so mad?
Yeah.
What? It's like really.
Well, I know. I remember glancing through stuff on YouTube. I saw people complaining about YouTube poopers who use custom thumbnails.
Why is that a problem?
I have no idea. I just kind of consider that to be a part of the process of making a YouTube poop. That's like or not half of, but a good. That's to me that's just as important as naming the YouTube poop.
I mean, I don't always use custom thumbnails, but I do from time to time. It's like I don't.
I do about 99% of the time.
I probably do it about half the time. Sometimes I'll do a custom thumbnail if it's like none of the thumbnail choices are good. Because okay, here's the thing. You don't want it to be like clickbait,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like
Well, I mean,
you want people to watch your videos.
how would you describe what clickbait is with YouTube poop though? Because I mean, if you put like I know I've put my thumbnails added characters who only appear for one joke. Does that count as clickbait in your opinion?
Hmm.
So I don't think clickbait is something that really applies to YouTube poop thumbnails. I mean, you're kind of trying to get people to click on it without knowing what the heck they're watching.
That's true, I guess.
I mean, that's why I mean, usually I make my videos with the assumption that people are gonna watch it knowing what a YouTube poop is. But I know I made like my MythBusters YTP was made. I named it Mythbusters instead of giving it some parody title because I was kind of hoping that I could get some people to watch it who have no idea what a YouTube poop is.
I hope I can get more views on this video.
That's not what I'm talking about.
But there's gonna be comments saying that Jimmy Davis just wants views.
Oh, that's always going to be a problem for some people.
Hashtag Jimmy Davis is over party.
Like I'm sure, I've wanted to do a SpongeBob poop for a long time. I'm sure when I eventually do that, I'm going to get people complaining that I'm just doing it for the views.
I make SpongeBob YouTube poops because I like SpongeBob.
Yeah, but we kind of got off topic a little bit here.
Well, we already read through all the comments.
Yeah, I think we should. We've been recording for almost 50 minutes. We should probably start to wrap up. But what were we talking about before? Well, we were talking about controversial YouTube poopers, but basically what I was trying to say is that even those people, I wouldn't mind having on the show. That'd be kind of fun to have on the show. I think it's important in life to hang out with people, hang out around people, or at least talk to people who don't agree with you on everything.
Don't ignore people who have different opinions.
Yeah.
That's never a good idea.
Yeah. So, and also I don't know if we'll be doing a ton of invites. Inviting YouTube poopers to join. I reading through the comments, there were 4 or 5 people who said that they'd be interested in being a part of the podcast, and so yeah, I'd have them on the podcast. But I'm probably not going to go out of my way too many times to invite different people to be on the podcast. So if you are interested in being in an episode or whatever in the future, let me know. And the worst thing that could happen is I could say, I don't know. But like I said, I don't want to ever turn somebody away just because, I don't like the video, your content or whatever.
You're a terrible pooper. No.
Yeah, YouTube poop is all about having fun, but you're having fun wrong.
Yeah.
That reminds me of another controversial YouTube pooper, 95 Shade. Controversial in the fact that a lot of people hate him.
I don't.
I don't think he's made a video for like a year though. But one of the interesting things about him is that he was one of the first YouTube poopers that I started watching when I got into modern YouTube poops. There was the Things one, Trudermark, Hoffy 1138, and 95 Shade. And I was constantly getting Trudermark, Hoffy 1138, and 95 Shade confused for each other somehow. I don't know how.
Honestly, I looking back, I don't know why I used to like 95 Shade.
But if you're listening to this and you want to be on the podcast, you can be on the podcast.
I mean, yeah, just because we don't like just
You don't like his videos. How do you know I don't like his videos?
if we don't like your videos, that doesn't automatically mean you can't be on here.
Yeah, I mean that
I mean, the thing is, it's like
that could be a little bit awkward, I guess. I mean, like for example, I know I don't personally like Awful Fawful's videos, but I wouldn't be opposed to having Awful Fawful on the as a guest on the. I'm just gonna say on the show. I wouldn't be opposed to having Awful Fawful on the show. That just might be a little bit awkward. I mean, I'm just gonna be sitting there, I hate your videos.
yeah, I mean, obviously we wouldn't like be sitting there saying your videos are awful. The thing is, it's like, it's like I don't. 95 Shade is not like the worst YouTube pooper ever, I don't think, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's like the thing is, it's like the pooper and the poops are they're two completely different things.
yeah. I'm interested in talking to the pooper, but I should also mention before I forget, I don't hate Awful Fawful's videos. I just am not personally a fan. Just in case you're wondering.
I've been a fan for years, so yeah, we disagree on that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I can't understand why people like those videos. It's just like I said, I'm not personally a fan. But we're kind of starting to repeat ourselves, so I guess we should probably wrap this up. Um, Feedback is very important, like I said in the last one. Oh, I should also mention that there are 2 dislikes on the podcast pilot.
Haters.
No, obviously you're allowed to dislike it, but bottom line is that there are no negative comments, and leaving a dislike does not really count as feedback, I don't think, because I have no idea why you disliked it if you just dislike without leaving a comment. I mean, you can dislike and leave a negative comment, but if you're not going to leave a comment, then disliking it doesn't tell me anything.
Except if you're gonna leave negative feedback, make it constructive criticism and not just you guys suck.
Well, even that is better than just a dislike, because then I know, okay, they dislike this because they hate us, not because they thought we were boring, or because they didn't like the way this was structured, or because it isn't Larry Man 2.
I once had a person get mad at me for one of my videos because they thought it was supposed to be a sad ending. I'm like, SpongeBob literally got arrested for selling weed at the end. Why do you think that's supposed to be a sad ending?
What?
Yeah, there was a video. It's like, was that ending supposed to be sad? You earned an dislike. And then I'm like,
How do you know that wasn't a joke, though? That's
and then like a month later, I'm sorry, I like your videos.
okay. Uh, that reminds me of back on my non-YTP channel, which I will talk about in a future video. I actually recorded a whole video where I was talking about every video on that channel, but I accidentally deleted that video, so...
Wow.
Yeah, that sucks. But anyway, I remember I made a Fred Figglehorn is white and nerdy video where, I just took clips from Fred videos and synced it up to white and nerdy, and somebody thought I was being racist.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, somebody was like, white nerd is kind of racist. Well, and also I the I want to roll with the gangsters line, whatever. I put a black guy in there because at that time there was only ever one Fred video that had other people in it, and it was that music video with the rappers. So like, it's kind of sad that you would associate black people with the gangsters or whatever. And so somebody else saw that I hated Fred, and I made another video like, I still hate you, but this was funny. I'm like, why do you hate me? Because you hate Fred.
We were huge Fred fans for some reason.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm like, I don't know why. Some of the earlier videos, there were some funny jokes, but the bottom line is they weren't very good.
Well, I think the thing is that I do still think, I mean, it's been a while since I've watched the older Fred videos, but I do still think that they were funny, from what I remember. At least, kind of funny. It wasn't really until he started to have, higher production quality, a better camera, music, extra characters, and whatever that it started to really be like, yeah, this is stupid.
But you know, the thing is, thinking back, it's like I'm like, you know, it's probably just because I was a kid, a little kid, watching the videos.
Yeah, but yeah, this is like the fourth time now that I've said we should wrap things up.
We should wrap things up, and 10 minutes later, we should wrap things up, and 10 minutes later, we should wrap things up.
And 10 minutes later, we should wrap things up. And 10 minutes later, we should wrap things up. And 10 minutes later, we should wrap
This
things up.
is gonna go on for 6 more hours.
No, I think we should just be done with this. So anyway, feedback is very important. Dislike is not feedback unless you leave a comment letting us know why you disliked it, because otherwise it could be anything really. If you want to be on the podcast, let us know. Like I said, if we don't know who you are, that doesn't necessarily mean for sure we're not going to let you be on the show. But I mean, definitely like for the first few guest episodes will probably just be people that we know of. But you can always leave a comment if you want to be in it. But I mean, you kind of have to have Skype so we can talk to you.
Maybe you know, I keep having people tell me I should get Discord. Maybe we should just get Discord so that way we could have people who don't have Skype.
We talked about Discord. Savvy told me to get Discord.
Maybe I should get it because I keep having.
Don't fall into peer pressure, Logan. Get Skype.
I already have Skype.
Yeah, anyway, so yeah, like I said, leave feedback, leave comments, leave like if you want. You don't have to like if you don't like. Like if you do, dislike if you don't, but always leave a comment. That's very important. Well, I guess you don't technically have to, but it's very much appreciated if you're leaving a dislike, so that way we know why you dislike. And also be sure to check out Logan's channel, a guy that loves pooping.
My videos suck, but I have 1.5 thousand subscribers for some reason.
Well, anyway, I guess we'll just end it with that. So if you've listened all the way through, thank you for listening. And like I said, these will get more smooth the more we make of them. And I will try my best to not be so stuttery. Well, I guess it's not really stutter so much as just stumbling over my words, or just starting a sentence, stopping halfway, and then starting over again. I'll try to speak more clearly, bottom line. So, thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Yep.